Hey guys, Greg here from Lensprotogo, and welcome to part 3 on our coverage on the RED cameras. In part 1 and 2 we covered the menus and the exterior. In this part we're going to be covering how to rig it up for certain situations. We'll cover how to set it up in a studio situation, for a handheld rig, and also a shoulder mount. I won't be covering a gimbal because as we were shooting the other ones, the Movi Pro was announced, and that's going to completely reinvent how we rig these cameras up for shoots like that. So without further ado, let's jump right into the studio setup. For our studio setup, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Here we have a Sachtler FSB6 tripod head, and we really like this head because it's incredibly smooth. As you can see, I can turn that pan lock off, and it can almost just spin on its own with almost no friction. The other great thing is you can really balance it to how you need it to be. So I can put this camera wherever I want, and it'll stay put because of these extra springs and tension knobs. Going up from that, we have a wooden camera easy riser plate. This gives you some 1/4-20s on this side and also on the other side, which I'll show you how we use that with the monitor setup. The other thing it gives you is the ability to put 15mm rails to mount correctly on the RED cameras. So if you look in here, you can see that the rails are up a little bit higher from the bottom of the camera. This is because RED's design has the mount located much taller than the average or standard camera setup. So these rails will lift it up, so then when you add accessories like a matte box or a follow focus, it will line up perfectly and work on your camera. Going off the lens mount here, we have a Zine Cine Prime. And this is a really great budget cinema lens. You get a lot of the features that you do with the more expensive ones like geared focus and iris rings. It goes all the way down to a T1.5. And for the cost, you get a really good image. Going forward from the lens, we have the wooden camera UMB1 matte box. This is a 2-stage matte box. And why we decided to go with this one was because you get some mounting options. So you get 1/4-20 and 3/8 mounting points, and also these NATO rails, which you can mount some accessories to. Flipping around to the other side of the camera, we have a Cinovate Duris follow focus. And this is a pretty solid follow focus that you can use to pull focus so you're not wrapping your hands around the lens. You can get the full throw in one spin instead of trying to work your way around the lens. And also it's great if you have a second operator, so you can get some smooth focus pulls. Back from that, we have the RED side handle, the DSMC2 side handle, and this gives you tons of functionality like start-stop record. You can control all your menus. You can also do that right through the monitor on top through the touchscreen, but the handle just gives you some quick access to some of those features. The other accessory that we've added on here is an Israeli arm and a Small HD 502 monitor. The Israeli arm is going into the other side of that easy riser plate with those 1/4-20 holes in it, and it's coming out and going into the 502. And the 502 is really good if you want to get some other options that the RED monitor just can't offer you. You get some really good focus peaking, you get false color, you can load LUTs into it, and so much more. This is also great if you have an assistant camera. You can have them be pulling focus and using this monitor while you operate using the RED monitor on top. We have that plugged into the HDMI on the back of the I/O pack here, and that leaves you the ability to send HD SDI out to another monitor if you want to send one for a client or something like that. We have the Blue Shape 90 watt-hour batteries. These are great because you can fly with them. If you go bigger than this, then you're not allowed to bring them on a plane. And then we also have the top handle on the top here, which is just great for quickly taking the camera off, and then you can carry it around so your AC can bring your tripod somewhere and you can carry the camera. And this is a really strong setup for a studio rig. Now let's jump into the shoulder mount where we show you how we take some of the stuff off and what we change to make it work as a shoulder mount. So what we've done to turn that studio setup into a shoulder mount is we've added the Zacuto VCT base plate. This is going to have the shoulder pad, and there's also an adjustment to adjust the weight back and forth on your shoulder. We've kept the easy riser and the rail adapter with the 15mm rails, but we've added on these Zacuto grips. These are great because you can do some really quick and easy adjustments just by loosening this knob in the front. You can do your up and down, and then you can adjust each hand individually with these knobs on top around this ball. Lock it down, and now you've relocated your hand grips. The other thing that we've added using the 1/4-20 on the matte box is we've added another Israeli arm and then this monitor relocating cable from Wooden Camera. So now we have our monitor in front of our face, so when we get this up on our shoulder, we have all our controls and everything we need right in front of us. Spinning around to the other side, We've kept the Durst follow focus, we've moved the small HD a little bit, and then we've added in a Zacuto whip so that you can be pulling focus, or you can have your assistant be pulling focus without messing up the movement on the camera. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. We kept the top handle for easy movement. We still have the side handle, so if you want to use that for controlling some menus, you can do that. And this is how easy it is to pop off. So we just grab it, throw it up on our shoulder, and now I have all my menus right in front of me. You see my assistant can operate from this side, and that's pretty much it. We can slap it back on a tripod and have it ready in a studio setup. Now let's jump over and we'll show you how we break this thing down and get it on an easy rig for a handheld setup. So the last one we're going to talk about today is the easy rig setup or handheld setup. And to get this, we stripped off a lot of the things that we had in the studio and shoulder mount. We don't have a plate on the bottom anymore. We still have the rails so we can have our follow focus on. We've switched out the matte box for this zip box, which is from Wooden Camera as well, and that just zips on to the front of the lens. We've moved the monitor mount and the Israeli arm to the top of the camera, and then we've extended out in front of us. We've gotten rid of all the accessories and the small HD monitor for our assistant, because this is really a one-man operation setup, unless you're doing it with a wireless follow focus and you're gonna have somebody pull that remotely. We still have our grip, so we can hold on to that on the side, and we still have our battery pack on the back. One other really important thing that we did is we switched around the top handle, so now that it's facing forward instead of backwards. This is important because you want to have your camera level when you're shooting, so we have balance in the front and balance in the back. If it's too far back and you're tilted up, you're always going to be fighting against it to get it to look down. As if it's in the opposite direction and it's tilted down, you're always going to be fighting it to look up at your subjects. And this is a great setup for a one-man operator. I have my hand on the grip over here so I can start, stop, record. I can go through all the menus. And then I have my other hand over here on the Cinovate Durst follow focus so I can be pulling focus. And then I have my monitor out here in front of me to see what I'm shooting. And that's all we have for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe for when the Movi Pro comes out and we show you how to set this camera up on a gimbal. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and also check out the description for detailed breakdowns on each of these setups with what gear we used and how much they cost to rent if you want to try them out. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.